keep those in mind, and then in the next activity we're gonna talk about how these places are made. But the first thing I wanted to do is, I'm running behind obviously, but I wanted you to meet DALL-E. So part of the experience here is, can we use visual generative AI to explain complicated concepts or to make city design more engaging? And so I was playing around and I decided to use DALL-E as a person we can have a conversation with. So I'm gonna ask him a few questions, and he was kind enough to join us, and I basically did a custom GPT and told them about the purpose of the session. And so I'm gonna ask DALL-E to introduce himself to you all. So let's see if this works.
I'm very freaked out by how we talk about this.
So DALL-E, mind introducing yourself to the group?
Certainly. Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to be with you here today. I'm Main Street DALL-E, a generative AI model that Fadi customized to help you visualize and conceptualize Main Street cityscapes at MIT. As a whimsical yet serious AI, my design blends academic insights with accessible explanations, aiming to deepen your understanding of city design, art, and technology. As we explore urban planning concepts, I'll generate photorealistic visualizations of main streets, highlighting key design elements within them. This approach is meant to inspire innovative thinking in civic engagement and city design, making them more user-friendly and thought-provoking. Let's dive into the world of main streets and see what we can create and learn together.
So this is about...
Certainly.
Oops.
Hello.
One thing I want to say is that this is a 10-minute conversation and there's coffee, so if you want to grab coffee and listen at the same time, you can. It's an option, but yeah. So a lot of you also don't know what a generative AI is. We don't all have the same understanding of what generative AI is and what it does. So I would like DALL-E to explain to us a bit what you are, DALL-E, and what we need to know as we're engaging with you.
Of course. I'm what you call a generative pre-trained transformer, or GPT for short, designed to understand and generate human-like text. Generative indicates my capability to create new content. Pre-trained means I've been trained on vast datasets before being fine-tuned for specific tasks. And transformer refers to the type of neural network architecture I'm built with to handle sequential data like language prompts. In generating the visualizations that you see, I've been trained on tens of millions of images and their descriptions, enabling me to understand and replicate complex patterns and styles. When you provide a description, I draw upon this immense repository to produce a unique visual representation aligned with your prompt. Think of me as a bridge between your creative concepts and their visual realization, transforming abstract city design ideas into beautiful forms.
Thank you.
Of course.
DALL-E. So what surprises me is how come you have an Irish accent, and what is this electronic background music that keeps playing?
Also, why are the shadings?
Oh.
The shadow is bothering.
While as an AI, I don't have a physical form or real voice, the accent and the background music elements add a touch of ambience to the experience. It's all part of making our interaction more engaging. Think of it as a bit of playful flair for our discussions about city design, art, and technology. I'm here to assist and inspire, and if a charming Irish accent and some catchy tunes help set the mood, then that's a delightful bonus.
Thank you.
Oh.
So a lot of us have not used ChatGPT. Maybe some of you did, but a lot of us have not even used it and don't understand necessarily the concept of prompts. So DALL-E, can you explain to us more if we want to learn about prompts and doing prompts?
All right, everyone, to get an image from me, just type out what you're imagining. Be as creative as you like. Describe the scene, the mood, the colors, anything you want to see. Then, simply indicate you want an image. For example, you could say, DALL-E, show me a vibrant main street with a jazz festival at sunset. And voila, I'll whip up an image based on your description. Remember, the clearer and more detailed your prompt, the closer the image will be to what you've got in mind. Let's start creating.
And by the way, this
All
was
right.
all done, the actual representation was done using DALL-E and the responses as well. So another thing that we're going to ask ourselves in city design is if we wanted to have a good prompt to get the results, what do we need to do? Yes, go ahead.
I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
Is he based off of you?
No.
This is just him.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So,
Yeah, I can see that.
but apparently, yeah, apparently he can't be exactly like DALL-E because of like policy issues, but this one apparently is a semblance.
The second one is, will we need to make our own ChatGPT account?
No, so I will have we'll have 4 computers with one ChatGPT 4, and I'll teach you how to access for free as well. There's a way to get it. It's just not, you can't customize it, but you can still access it.
What is the difference between chat? Is DALL-E and ChatGPT, are they the same or different? I actually don't realize.
They are,
Like, I understand GPT is a specific thing.
they're
Different.
I think it works in conjunction from what I understood. Like, it offers you the option to like use text to generate the image, but it's not necessarily integrated. It's like a separate function.
But it's like the same technology question.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Different.
They're both technologies of OpenAI,
Got it.
and DALL-E is native to ChatGPT. So,
But does Microsoft own it?
it's from the state of OpenAI. So,
That's why it's been like advertised so heavily by Microsoft. Because I think that's where I've been seeing it.
Microsoft has its own image generator, which is essentially DALL-E. It is DALL-E, it's just called something else because it's on Microsoft being served.
Yeah, okay.
But it's DALL-E.
Thank you.
Yeah, it would have been good to ask these questions directly, but it would have been too long to generate the image. Ask ChatGPT.
I'm just confused by the mustache is really bothering me.
And yeah, and
Could you describe one interaction you developed with DALL-E, what your dialogue with DALL-E was to get to this point? Could you just do one section?
yeah, I can show you at after this session. Yeah. Where did we?
As you share,
This one I think we can pass.
certainly.
Okay, so one thing that's very interesting with DALL-E, yes?
I have one question. So, from my understanding, which is very reduced about this topic, with DALL-E you can get images, but this is a video. Can you also get like videos?
No, that's like an additional step where you can upload an avatar. So you can generate a face on DALL-E and then upload that to another kind of visual AI capacity, and it generates based on text that you put.
So this is an avatar.
Yeah,
Of DALL-E.
of DALL-E generated from ChatGPT, the image and the text.
Can we get it to be Taylor Swift? How do we do that?
It's possible, I think. But the idea is, you know, as we're exploring more like, you know, if we're going to communicate with the public on city design, is this kind of tool useful to explain complicated things and to make it more like interactive than text? So that was a bit the idea. But I'm going to just show you, and I'll show you some examples and we can keep talking. But one thing that really is really nice and I've been exploring with the DALL-E functionalities is the different views that you can get. So I asked DALL-E what views does he recommend and that we can experiment and reflect on when we're thinking about main streets.
For sure, I can recommend a few main street visualizations. For a close-up look at storefronts, pedestrian paths, and street furniture, you can use street-level view. It's great for understanding the human-scale experience and interactions. For an overhead perspective, showing the street's layout and building footprints, consider a bird's-eye view, useful for understanding how the street fits in a larger urban context. I can also generate hyperrealistic architectural details of buildings, signage, and window displays. This facade or close-up view is excellent for capturing the character and aesthetic of the street. Finally, night view provides a different perspective that gives you a sense of street lighting and nightlife atmosphere. These are only some cursory examples. Including different views in your prompts can lead to a richer understanding of main streets. Fadi will be more than happy to show you some of my best artistic renditions, showcasing a diversity of views on main streets, won't you, Fadi?
I have a question. Can you import custom pronunciations?
They have a select set, but you can put your voice.
Right, like can you, like he's saying, can you be like, no, pronounce that differently?
My husband said, can you change the way he pronounces your name? I'm like, I'm not gonna spend 30 minutes to try again. Like,